Welcome to another episode of Eating While Broke. Today in the building we have the co-owner of the Billionaire Burger Boys, Chef SOULO, who is also a food truck titan who owns multiple food trucks and restaurants. In addition to all that, he is also a two-time champion of Guy's Grocery Game and is the star of his very own TV show, The Burger Truck Brawl. I'm very excited to have you today. What do you have us eating?
Well, today we have some white bread, some margarine, because I couldn't afford butter back in the day, a little brown sugar, some peanut butter, some honey, and a little bit of salt. Back in the day, we didn't have jelly. I come from a place where we actually got government issued food. Like the whole government cheese joke.
Yeah.
Like that's a real thing.
And you actually had the block.
Yes, we had the
Everyone that
block.
comes on this show always asks about the block of cheese. I'm like, I don't know where to get it.
Man, listen, ain't nowhere to get it. You can get it from the store, Restaurant Depot. You know, they do sell the cheese unsliced, but yeah, we used to get this big block of processed pasteurized cheese, like the American cheese, pretty much. Peanut butter, honey. And the honey didn't look like this. It actually was crystallized because it got cold, and so you would have to warm it up in order for it to turn back to honey.
Wow.
Yeah, this is these are ingredients that we actually just had around the house. Of course, with the margarine is cheap. So that's all we pretty much could afford, and it was in buckets.
Okay.
The Country Crock, the Golden Soft, I believe that's the name of the brand. It's a couple of different brands of margarine that you would get in a bucket, but that's what we had because we couldn't afford butter.
Exactly. So why don't you start cooking this dish, and then I want to know when was the last time you ate this dish?
The last time I ate this, I probably was about 14.
Wow.
I was living with my dad. Unfortunately, I also come from a time where crack was big, so crack got him, and he was just, we stayed with him, and, it was one of those situations to where, like, you remember Bebe's Kids?
Yeah.
You remember when he went to the house and he looked in the refrigerator and was just flies and some baking soda in there?
Yeah.
Like, that was our refrigerator.
Wow.
Like, legit.
But your dad was taking care of you guys while he was
Yes.
on...
He was a functioning drug addict, but of course, the focus was his habit.
Yeah.
And of course we had things like government issued cheese, the peanut butter, different rice, beans, different things like that.
What was your mom?
My mom, she passed away when I was 10.
Oh.
So
Okay, wow.
yeah,
And he was able to take care of you guys and...
Well, that's the thing. We kind of moved around. I've lived with my aunt. I've lived with my brother. I've lived with cousins, family members, church members, my aunt, a couple of my aunts. But it's just stuff like that. I pretty much was like all over the place. And then of course there were times when he would come and get us and we would go live with him, because he would get an apartment or something like that. But of course he still had his habits. So of course that was just something that we just had to deal with. You know what I mean? But of course it's those are the kind of things that you say, like, it builds character. I was cooking when I was like 7 or 8. Like,
Wow.
I have 7 older brothers. So one of my older brothers, he used to, like, he went to the Navy or whatnot, but he was like the hood barber. So he cut everybody in the hood. He cut everybody hair, including ours, of course. But so he would, like, he drank 40s and cut hair all day. And he was into electronics and different stuff. He was the guy that had the Pro-Am car, or was the RC cars, big model cars, and spray paint them, and all. He was into all kind of stuff. But what he would do is he would pay me to go to the store, get him a 40 ounce, some noodles, and 2 sausages, and I would cook it for him.
Oh, okay.
So that was just something that I would just do because I needed to, like, he paid me like $2.
And so you were chefing it and making your first buck. So that was like your intro to entrepreneurship, I guess.
In a sense.
Right.
And I didn't know what it was. Of course, I'm just, a kid. Like, I just wanted to have my little change so I can be on the block with the other kids, with my Cheetos and hanging out and have fun or whatever. So, yeah, it was just something, I didn't think of it as that. I just thought of it as, my brother is paying me to make these noodles. Let me make these noodles, you know, because my mom always taught us to be self-sufficient, you know, even from a young age. Like, we just, you know, I was doing laundry when I was 10, like, you know, things like that. Like, so that was pretty much my life.
Wow.
But,
okay. Wow, you definitely have an interesting story. So, the last time you ate this, you're making this, you're 14 years old. Can you paint me like a picture of your environment?
At the time, I was in junior high school. Every day pretty much was like, all right, wake up, get ready for school. What am I gonna eat? You know, how am I eat at school? You know, of course we had free lunch, but you know, free lunch was ass. You know,
yeah,
most of the time,
it
like,
was.
You know, so.
And then sometimes, I don't know about you, but I was always embarrassed to get my free lunch. I don't. Oh, you weren't. I was always embarrassed.
You know, because my thing was, it's like, shoot, you know, it was kids that was paying for lunch that wish they could get the free lunch. You know, so they would buy our tickets sometimes.
I don't get it. Why would they do that?
Because they had to pay for lunch.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? And if their parents couldn't afford it.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's like
cheaper.
You have to meet a certain income to get the free lunch.
Yeah.
And if you go over that threshold, then you can't get free lunch. You have to pay for it.
Yeah.
But of course, on paper, a lot of these parents, they have the income, but it's not what they're actually.
Yeah,
you know.
Of course.
So of course, their budgeting is different too. So sometimes kids couldn't afford lunch for the day.
Yeah.
You know, and I have friends that were like that.
So you just took the butter and you put it in a little pot?
Yeah, I put the butter in a little pot. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a little sauce, a little caramel like glaze.
Okay.
Just to decorate the plate. This ain't something that I did when I was younger.
Yeah.
But
you're not eating while broke. You're trying to make it special.
Right.
For me.
Like I'm gonna snazzy it up a little bit just to you know.
Okay.
But I'm just make a little caramel glaze just so I can.
So that's brown sugar and margarine.
Brown sugar, margarine. I usually add when I make the caramel sauce, I add a few more flavors.
Oh, salt.
But a little bit of salt. One thing people don't realize is that salt is not like I don't know. It's not like a spice.
Really?
No.
What are we gonna? We can't say this. All the black people in the world are gonna like have a heart attack.
No, salt is not a spice. Salt is a flavor enhancer.
Oh.
So it's not meant for like. That's why they say don't use a lot, because what it does is like you think about all of your different ingredients you use. Yeah. Your paprikas, your garlic, your onion, different things like that. They have no salt content. So when you add the salt to them, it makes the flavor pop. It brings out the flavor.
Okay.
So that's why it's like.
So what's Lawry's?
Excuse me?
What's Lawry's?
Lawry's is trash.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Lawry's is garbage.
I totally agree. I wanna have that clip just cut and sent to my husband. Okay, a chef said garbage. That. Lawry's is garbage. Okay.
The thing about compound seasonings that I hate the most is that you can't control how much of each ingredient or each spice that you use. It's a compound seasoning for a reason, because it just gives you all-inclusive flavor, but I want to put a little more garlic in it. I want to put a little more paprika in it. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times what we do is like these compound seasonings, we have them all in our cabinet, we just don't use them. So we're going to grab Lawry's, because Lawry's just pretty much got all of that in it. But the thing is, Lawry's also has sugar. You know what I mean? So we're putting sugar in pretty much everything that we eat when we're using Lawry's. That's why I hate it. And that's why black people got diabetes and hypertension, high blood pressure.
Yeah, it's salt and sugar.
Exactly. Because we'll be pouring it on. They got MSG, different things like that. You know, so it's just a matter of, I wish I had a little milk or a little cream. But, yeah, it's just a matter of controlling those type of things. And then, of course, like iodized salt, you know, for me, it's not good. Use kosher. It's just a healthier salt. It's a lower sodium salt. But this is the salt that we had growing up. Yeah, you know, we had iodized. It was what was it? I forgot the name of it. With the girl with the yellow dress walking down the street with the umbrella.
Oh, yeah. I have that in my cabinet right now.
Morton's, I think.
yeah, Morton's.
Something like that. But yeah, that's the salt that I grew up with in my kitchen. But when I became a chef, that's when I was introduced to like kosher salt, pink Himalayan salt, just different salts like those, because they're lower in sodium and they're healthier. Yeah. So, yeah.
So to go back to your environment, how do you go from, you know, being independent young young boy, for not trying to knock your 9-year-old youth, but young boy to billionaire burger boys, like what steps am I missing? Like what happened? What transitioned where you kind of decide you're going to build this empire?
Well, it's a whole lot of living that happened in between then.
Okay, yeah, I want to hear the living. I want to hear, because you also went to culinary school. You also cooked for all these huge chefs.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it was just a matter of, like I said, it was living going on. But like I said, my mom died when I was 10, and it just kind of put me in a place where it was just like, all right, figure it out. Your daddy's here, and then he's not here. Prison, here, there, like, so I had to really learn how to be a human being. Yeah. Just from meeting people and just dealing with people in my life. So, I'm really like a variation of all the people that I've met or all the people that have influenced me in my life. So yeah, I had an uncle. He passed away actually 7 days after my mom passed. He passed. He was her brother, but the thing was, she was really all he had. And it's like, have you ever heard of like people dying of a broken heart?
Yeah.
Oh
no.
So it was kind of like that for me. When I in hindsight, when I think about it, he really was hurt. Because everything he had just left him.
Yeah.
So yeah,
was
he passed
also
away,
like a caretaker for you guys, or no?
Yeah, he was very active in our lives. He lived with us, and then he had his own place, and I used to go over to his house.
And how are you coping with all this like death? Like, are you like so young that you're just processing it, or was it difficult?
Well, for me, as far as the death, it was just kind of like, okay, I don't really understand it. You know what I mean? I'm a kid, so I used to have dreams like that. My mom would come back, like she used to shop a lot. She loved shopping. That was one thing about us. We always stayed fresh, always had the newest this. Okay. And then she was a seamstress as well, so she would make us outfits.
How did she support that?
What you mean?
Like, what did she do for work?
This is the 80s.
Okay.
So you got, of course, weed.
Okay, I get it.
My mom was a hustler. My daddy was a hustler.
Okay.
But so that's the thing. It was just like she did what she had to do. She had 10 kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So she did what she had to do. But yeah, no, it was like credit card fraud, check fraud, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Like that was big in that time because you could walk into a store and pretty much walk out of there with $1,000 worth of product with just a piece of paper.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. No credit card, no hard plastic, no nothing. And their machines were analog, so the information didn't get back to them until months later.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm gonna go and butter this bread.
So you take the bread.
Where she messed up is she want to get to ask you all the personal questions.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So the focus it becomes that and not the food. So excuse her.
Go ahead. Do your thing.
I'm gonna butter this bread. I'm gonna put some peanut butter on here. Get this on here searing a little bit.
Now you don't put every inch of the bread has butter. I see, because when I do mine, I like slab
that's because you like a lot of butter. You know what I mean? So
a lot of peanut butter.
There's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? But for me, it's just really I'm gonna do this because I don't want to get peanut butter all in my hands. Once the butter is on there, it melts, right?
Yeah.
So move it around the pan. It's gonna touch other parts of the bread.
Okay.
And the thing is about this cheap bread is that it soaks up every bit of that butter you put on it.
Okay.
So you got this greasy, you know what I'm saying? You never really get the bread content.
Okay.
Unless you know what I mean? Of course, with the edges you'll get it, but you never really get that gist of the bread. So what happens is you kind of miss out in a sense.
Okay, so now you're adding
I'm adding a little honey. You know what I mean?
On top of the peanut butter.
Yeah, so this is what we use in place of the actual jelly. Because we got the honey for free.
I've never seen this.
You know what I mean? So yeah, man.
I've never in my life seen this.
Really?
Never.
Yeah, well.
Wow, look at that.
This was essential. You know what I'm saying? Like sugar sandwiches, syrup sandwiches,
Yeah.
it was real.
Yeah.
But for me, I wanted it to be hot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like when we did have jelly, I would toast
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
You know, just sometimes what you'll do is you don't have a spatula, huh? Sometimes what you would do is, and then of course just not having the utensils.
This is eating while broke. Kitchen living to its full potential right now.
You know, I'm gonna turn
This
this
is a
heat up a
real
little
test.
bit. I'm trying not to.
What do you do when you don't have utensils and
Hey,
the right ingredients?
you use your hands. You use your hands, or you use something that's closest thing to it. You know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, this was essential to my life.
Yeah.
This rice with margarine and some sugar. If
You were like really broke.
Yeah,
you were really broke, and it's
no.
crazy because if you go to Billionaire Burger Boys, like you have $30 burgers and so.
And that's only because of the market price of
Yeah.
seafood and different things like that. Like, you know, we pay a lot for those lobster tails. Yeah. You know, so that's the thing is like I got a burger with lobster and shrimp on it. You know, I'm using.
I can't wait to eat it. I can't wait.
You know, I'm using.
I should have had a special edition.
You know, we use Angus ground chuck, 80/20. You know what I mean? So it's the quality behind it.
Where did your love of food come into play? Because at some point you decide this is a career path you want.
I've always loved food. I've always loved cooking. It's just music was really my life. So I come from a background like, you know, I have singers in my family as well. As chefs. My uncle was a chef. 2 of my brothers were chefs. But like 4 of my brothers can sing. 1 of my brothers play drums. My other sister, she plays the drums and could play pretty much any instrument you put in front of her.
Wow.
So I come from a musical background. But I was a singer. I really didn't play instruments. I could play by ear a little bit, but you know, I was the singer. Okay. So music was my life. Chef SOULO is actually a derivative of Dave Soul, which was my stage name when I was doing music. Okay. You know what I mean? So for me, it was always about the music. Like my goal was I was gonna become the next Luther Vandross. Okay. You know what I mean? So for me, I wanted to take that and elevate it. Yeah. So you remember MySpace? Yeah. Yeah, I was MySpace famous.
Okay.
Like that's how I was. Like they used to have a club in City Walk. It's called BB King's, and it has 3 floors. Yeah, I used to sell that place out like regularly. Like that was my thing. Like MySpace. That's why I love social media because MySpace was a tool for me to grow my music career. Wow. Okay. Like you could literally become famous. Like you could become insta famous, but it was like locally. Yeah. I was the man. Okay. You know what I mean? So like music was always like my passion. That was my love. That's what I always wanted to do. But unfortunately, due to certain circumstances, I don't want to disclose because you know nobody's to blame but me for my shit. But I ended up quitting. Just saying, forget music. Moving on to a space where I was you know, just working regular jobs. Okay. I was married at the time, started growing, having a family, growing. So it was really like, okay, well, you can still keep chasing this dream of being this star. Yeah. Or you can start to provide for your family and making sure they straight, right? Yeah. So that's really what it was. It was a segue, really. So I was working at Walmart. Worked there for 3 years. Exemplary service, all that good stuff. Wow. But of course, you know, black people, when we break, we break. Yeah. So, you know, the extra breaks started adding up and I ended up getting fired. Right? Wow. I'm gonna just use my plate to cut it. Okay. But I ended up getting fired. And once I got fired, I was sitting on my couch in my living room and I'm trying to figure out like, yo, what am I gonna do?
And this is how you're supporting your family is working at Walmart.
Exactly.
And Walmart is probably paying like not that well either, right?
At the time, I was making like $12 an hour.
Wow, and you're supporting a family. Wow. Exactly. And then so you lose your job.
I lose my job, and one thing about me is I'm never ever going to be without job or without work. You know, of course, I naturally have that hustler mentality. So for me, it was just about trying to figure out what's like my next move. But the thought process behind it was, okay, what can I do that doesn't feel like work that I love? You know what I mean? Something that I would do for free.
Yeah.
And in that moment, and I always tell the story, and it's so weird, a Le Cordon Bleu commercial came on TV. No lie.
Yeah, okay.
And I'm sitting there, and you know, the light bulb went off over my head, like, yo, I can be a chef.
Yeah.
Like, I'm good at this. So I checked in school the next day.
But now, how are you supporting your family while going to school? Are you?
Well, I was married at the time, and my ex-wife, she had a job and she was making adequate money, different things like that. You know, of course, I was a hustler too.
Yeah. So y'all made it work.
Yeah.
And you went to school. Okay.
Like
so you enjoyed school.
Huh?
You enjoyed it.
Yes.
Okay.
But you know, that's the thing. We both were pursuing things. Like she was in school getting her degree in psychology. And so I went ahead and started pursuing culinary.
Okay.
So I went to school, and I pretty much excelled with school so much. And like 2 months in, I had a job as a chef. Okay. You know what I mean? I was already working in kitchens. I had worked as a busboy, a server assistant, different things like that. Even as a server sometimes, but I could never get in the kitchen.
Just so all y'all listeners know that you hear this little sound, it's because he keeps mixing the honey and the sugar. I'm guessing he's trying to keep it from getting hard. Yeah. Right?
Well, what happens is, that's why I said I wish I had a little cream or some type of milk substance. That way I can, how do you say, when you add the cream or the milk, it'll thin out the brown sugar, and then it'll take the crystallization out.
Oh, okay.
So now, I would
love to say we could run to the kitchen to get that, but I don't think we have milk.
No, don't worry about it.
It's just hard on the audio.
Okay, my bad. No,
but like, what's all this scratching going on?
I'm over here mixing records. But no, this just helps to break down the actual sugar or whatnot, so you're not eating a grainy sugar. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I use the milk or the cream. Also just cooking it down will help with that too. The butter. Or the margarine with the sugar, but you just have to cook it a little bit before. Okay. And then.
Okay, perfect. I want to see this.
So. That's just to create some type of little
fancy.
Ambiance. Okay. You know what I'm saying?
Oh.
And then, boom.
Oh, I want my camera to take a picture of this. And we don't have overhead cam today.
Well, I am.
This is it for the side cams. He plated it like a chef. We had is this going to taste like caramel?
Huh? Yes.
Okay. Ooh,
yes, it's going to give you
fancy.
Those vibes. It won't give you the full caramel flavor because I like to add things like to my caramel. Like I'll add like a maple extract or something just to give it a nice little vibe. Yeah. But yeah, it's pretty much giving you caramel.
So I'm going to be that rude person and take a bite before.
No, you good. Go ahead.
Okay. So we're going to sample the goods because it's nice and warm.
That's margarine sizzling, by the way.
Wow. You can make this at home. I love the shell. Let's see if I dip it, what happens.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I can.
Oh, this thing is hard fast. This is good.
I can give you a little drizzle of it.
Oh, yeah. Please do. Can you put it on the...
Yeah. Set it down.
Oh, sorry. It tastes good. I love how the honey is in it. Oh, my gosh. Camera again. It looks fancy smancy. All right, this tastes really good. It's very sweet. It has like a nice crystal... I'm going to try and take another bite. Ooh. This is good. Very sticky on the teeth.
That's that sugar.
This is like a delicious treat. And honestly, you could fill up your stomach, and I totally get it. It's like a upgraded version of a peanut butter sandwich.
Yep.
So I'm trying to still walk through this story with you.
Okay.
Okay, so you go to culinary school. You're cooking in all these kitchens. What happens next?
Yeah, I go to culinary school. I graduate. And of course, for me, it's always a void because I always feel like I should be here.
Yeah.
But I'm always here.
Yeah.
So it's just always a matter of trying to figure out how to work myself up to getting here. So, you know, I had worked for, you know, worked in Wolfgang Puck's kitchens. I had worked for Robert Irvine. I worked in all of Wolfgang Puck's kitchens with just different chefs, and I learned a lot, actually, just working around those chefs. I actually was able to cook a steak for Wolfgang one time, just because I was at the Beverly
What did he
Hills Hotel.
think? It was great.
Well, they told me he loved it.
Okay,
you know
okay,
what I mean? Because I don't season my steaks traditionally.
It's good.
Because people just a lot of times add salt and pepper and boom. But I take a different approach when it comes to that. But yeah, no, I just happened to be working at one of his hotels, and he happened to be there. He's always at the Beverly Hills Hotel. So he happened to be there, and he wanted a steak, and the chef was like, "You want to make it?" I was like, "Hell yeah!" You know.
Okay.
So,
Were you like looking out through the door, like, "Hey"?
No, it was actually, see, the way the Beverly Hills Hotel is set up is they have this dungeon, and it's this big kitchen, and it's so many stations, so many chefs, you know, and just different things going on. Like, literally, they're cooking for restaurants, they're cooking for room service, like, they have a cafeteria for the employees.
Yeah.
This thing hot.
You're not going to put the caramel stuff on it?
Oh, yeah.
Honestly, I love this sandwich, but this caramel on top, that's where it's at. Like that.
See that drizzle?
That is amazing.
And this is without the.
Do you even need the honey on the inside with the caramel on the out?
Huh?
Do you even need the?
No, you don't. But the caramel is what I added today. That's some new stuff. But the real gist of the sandwich is the honey and the peanut butter toasted.
Well, this is so delicious.
Thank you.
With the caramel on top.
Thank you.
I'm never gonna. I'm gonna want to do this to all my sandwiches now.
You're silly.
And I learned how to make it too.
Yeah.
You stir it
You
with the butter,
That's
the
thing.
salt, and the honey, and you stir it.
Yeah. I usually have a whisk. I didn't even use the whisk that I requested.
Oh.
Because I didn't even think to look over there.
My bad.
You know, I requested a whisk, y'all, and I didn't use it.
Oh, yeah. You sure did. You didn't. Okay.
Yeah, I totally requested it. Didn't even use it, but I didn't have a whisk.
This is delicious.
But
And when we do the cookbook, we're going to include the caramel on top. Because that's where, to me, it just tips it over. It goes from a broke dish to a fancy broke dish.
No, the thing is, I could literally make this and serve it at a fine dining restaurant.
Yeah, and I would pay for this.
Yeah, no, I would totally switch it up.
It'd be like a carameled. How would you name it? What would you name it?
I don't even know. I'd probably do some crazy stuff like call it a peanut butter brulee or something. Peanut butter brulee sandwich. Because what I would do is I would use like a sweet Hawaiian loaf or a brioche loaf, and I would cut it to big slices with the peanut butter. I would of course add the honey, but
you're getting us all excited right now.
Yeah. No, I would add the caramel, right? I would drizzle it with the caramel, and then I would sprinkle brown sugar, and then burn the brown sugar, just to give the brulee feel, because you'll get that crispy texture on the outside, and then you'll bite in, and it's got the drizzle. Like, it's just, there's so many compounds of this that I can make it, and and I would do something like a vanilla bean whipped cream, just as a garnish with a little piece of mint, and it's elevated. Okay. You know what I mean? Wow. So, yeah, man, it's no real science to it. Like, it's just really about just how you make it look. You can make something that costs you $3 to make. You can make it look like a $50 plate. But you make it look, but you also make it taste good. Yeah, like I would have never thought of this combo. Well, but now you're at the culinary school. I mean, you graduated you're finished with the culinary school. You're cooking for all these famous chefs. Where does Billionaire Burger Boys happen in there? Oh man, that was even a process. So I ended up, I was living in Palmdale at the time. Palmdale, jeez. Yes, I was living in Palmdale because that's where me and my ex-wife, we moved with our kids and different things like that. Have a bigger house and all that. There you go. So I'm single now. Yeah. I'm single. I got a son. Wait, you migrated from South LA to Palmdale? Yes. Okay, let's highlight that. Yes. Okay, South LA to Palmdale, and then I come back after I get a divorce. I come back, and that's when I meet Jennifer, who is my girl and the co-owner of Billionaire Burger Boys. Oh. we started. She basically encouraged me to do the pop-ups that I wanted to do. I wanted to start doing cooking because I had started doing it in Palmdale, but then it kind of died out, and I went back to work because like I stopped working to do that. Like I used to sell tacos on my carport, and it's so funny. You had Chef Ocho on here. He was the reason why I ended up going and getting my flat top and started cooking tacos and stuff like that out of my carport because I was watching a video of my sister. Michelle, shout out to Michelle for that video, but she sent me a video of Chef Ocho. Like it was like, you know how they do them little internet videos, social media videos. So they asked him at the end. They said, if you could give anybody any advice to anybody that wants to get into this or wants to do this, what would you say to them? And he's like, just do it. Just get out there and do it. Pretty much. And that
so
was
you
enough
watched
motivation.
that video.
I watched that video.
You in these videos be popping. Okay, go on.
Well, that's the thing. I'm a believer in the universe and how it works, spirituality, different things like that. So you have to be open-minded. You have to be able, your vision. Like, you know how they say the third eye. Like, you have to have that open because, like, the universe will show you things and it'll give you the answers and it has messages for you. So that was the thing. It was like I saw that video and I had literally just done a gig with the chef that I was working with at a school. He would call me to just come and help out. So I had worked that week and I got paid and I took that money and went and bought my flat top.
Okay. And then, the flat top is what you cook your meals in, right?
It's in Spanish it's the plancha. You know what I'm saying? Like,
so you buy this flat top, then what happens?
I start cooking on my carport.
When you say carport, what does carport mean?
It's just basically a parking space with a top over it, a cover over it. Okay. So
and so you're going in the streets and selling, or where are you selling?
No, I was at my house.
Oh,
literally at my house.
You're at your house. Oh, I see carport.
Space.
Oh, okay. So how do you get people to know about your business?
Instagram and Facebook.
So you're like posting videos, they start showing up at your house.
Well, that's the thing. Prior to that, I had done so everybody on social media went through the culinary process with me. So from day one, when I started school, I took a picture, literally took a selfie and posted me in my chef hat and my coat. And then I started posting the food that I was making. So everybody had been on this journey and my following had grown substantially from the time I started to the time I finished culinary school. So it's like everybody's pretty much, they're in tune, they're waiting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I love it.
When I posted that I was selling tacos in Palmdale, of course, everybody in LA, because that's where I'm originally from, and everybody knows me pretty much in LA, is like, well, when you coming to LA?
Yeah.
But I also got people in Palmdale that rock with me. And, they pulled up. Like, I literally sold out that first night that I did it. And so it was just doing that, the repetition of that. Palmdale and Lancaster had a lot of construction sites because they were, going solar.
Yeah.
Everything was going solar out there. So literally it's fields upon fields of solar panels. So
you're pulling up on the construction workers?
Exactly.
Okay.
5 o'clock in the morning, I got breakfast burritos.
Okay. But now this is Palmdale, so this is pre-Jennifer. So when does the Jennifer?
That's when I moved from Palmdale.
Okay, so you moved from Palmdale, you meet Jennifer, and you guys.
At the time, I was working at a hotel. I was just working for an agency, so I was just doing odd jobs.
And then places. You're probably cooking on the weekends or something?
I wasn't even doing that.
Oh no!
I started back working regular jobs.
Okay. So
it was moving around with the agency. Then I started working in this kitchen that was like a production kitchen they produce food for like different movie sets. So all of the major movie studios in LA, they delivered like pans of food to them. Yeah. So I used to do that. They call that batch cooking when you just cook big pans of food and like loads of it. So that's I did that. And I was working for the chef. He was just horrible. He was a horrible freaking chef. Like course,
horrible as in attitude or horrible as in
attitude.
Was his food trash?
Food was trash too.
Okay.
Everything that he had, every recipe or menu that we had to make, I was like, I could do this better. So of course, everything I cooked, I put my little je ne sais quoi, as they say, on it. I would put my pizzazz on it because it's like, nah, this is ass. I can't do this. So I was working for him and it was just like, yo, I can't do this no more. So I told Jen like, yo, I want to start doing pop-ups. And so she ended up setting up the pop-up at Chu Tong Coffee Shop in Gardena. Shout out to Kit. he gave me my start pretty much.
So like she calls and she's like, "Hey, I got this amazing chef, also my man."
Well, he was featuring chefs.
Okay.
He was featuring like Three Stacks Kitchen. He had Nacho Mama Kitchen.
Okay.
You know, shout out to them. Those are the people that I was rocking with. He was also featuring Chef Ocho came through.
Okay.
Did some stuff, Taco Mel.
And he would let you guys come set up and cook.
Yep. We would cook right in front of the shop, you know, or if they had, you know, and, you know, whatever. We would always set up in front of the shop. So I started doing that, and then I started moving around different places. Like, we got shut down there. Okay. Because code enforcement would be like, yeah, you know, you guys are too loud, neighbors complaining, different things, because it would always be an event. Like, anytime we posted that there was something going on, like, you know, people would pull up. So that we started getting shut down doing that, and it just got to a point where it was like, it was sucky because I couldn't do anything anywhere. Yeah. And at that time, like, the street vendor laws were like, they were non-existent.
Yeah, now they're like all support street vendors. Yeah.
But I went through that process. People don't. I was in that. I was the cause of these laws coming into place because I was one of those street vendors. Okay. You know what I mean? So that's the thing is like, that was just a time where it sucked to be a street vendor. Yeah. You know, but it was like just figuring it out. I used to be in downtown LA in front of this parking lot in between these clubs selling. Yeah. Right across the street from
And you weren't selling hot dogs. What were you selling? Or tacos? What were you selling?
I had a whole menu standing outside. I had a kitchen.
Where were you the other night when I was at the Staples Center? All I had was hot dog options.
Oh, man. You got to stop by on the menu, man. That's my boy. He be out there pretty late. I think he get out there about 9. Okay. But he do all kind of desserts, but he also has he does halal food. So, yeah, I got shut down. And it's like, okay, you know, I did my research on food trucks. And prior to that, like, to get a food truck, you had to buy one, right? And, of course, that could be anywhere.
This is before you could lease them?
Yes.
Okay, go on.
Yes. So, you know.
Wow, you had it hard. All right, go on.
No, that's the thing is, like, all of the progressions or the changes, I was a part of. I was right at the head.
So it's like you were in the sucky time to be a street food vendor, and now you're in a sucky time to like get a food truck.
Exactly.
And all the capital you're working with, I'm assuming, is capital that you're hustling from your day job or your whatever.
It comes from being a drug dealer. You know, just that whole mentality. Like, That's why they say drug dealers are the best entrepreneurs. You know, those are your CEOs. Those are the ones that can run a Fortune 500 company because they just understand how to make the money. And then, of course, most drug dealers, we save. We stack, you know, and what's the first thing they tell you to do? Save. You know, so
wow, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, no. I would totally I would buy the product, I would sell it, take the money, re-up, and go do it again. You know what I mean? So it was just one of those things where it was like, all right, what am I gonna do? And then just like I said, food trucks wasn't an option because I didn't have the credit or the finances to get one.
So then how did you get one? How'd you end up getting there?
I ended up getting it because, you know, of course, after time, probably like a month or two, I started selling out the house. It just became easier. So I would have people just pull up and get food then. So one day, I'm riding down the street, another story.
Go for it.
I'm riding down the street, right? And I had looked up food trucks, like I said, and it was just all, you had to buy them. Yeah. And so I had I think I Googled like food truck leases or something but I put it in Google Maps. Yeah. And it was a food truck manufacturer that came up literally right around the corner. And I called him and I was like, yo, you got food trucks right now? He's like, yeah, I got one right now, you know. And I go to him and I talk to him like, you know, I was always taught like, you know, just go like you got the money. Yeah. You know, act like don't worry about the money.
And at this time, are you familiar with good credit and all that stuff?
Yeah.
So you had all that. So
I didn't have good credit.
Oh, okay.
No, I didn't. Okay. You know, financial literacy was definitely something that was lacking in my life.
Of course.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, I called him. I went there, and I'm like, so how much you want for it? And he was like, just $2,400 a month. I was like, what? He was like, yeah, it's a lease. You know, he's like, we'll do a year lease, $2,400 a month. So how much down? Like, he's like, just, 24 times 2. And that'll put you on the truck. It comes with all the health permits, everything.
Like, it came with the health permits too.
Okay,
okay.
And then, of course, this monthly lease includes maintenance, anything that happens to the truck.
No, it doesn't include the whole commissary and all that,
no,
right? Okay.
Commissary is a different thing. You have to go and get a commissary to park the truck.
Did you know about that?
Yes.
Oh, so going in, you did your research.
Yes.
You just happened to, God allowed you. So you end up getting that truck.
I ended up getting that truck.
Congratulations.
I went through a whole lot. My cousin Dion, shout out to Dion, man, and my brothers all came together and put money together and helped me out. So it was a whole process. Like literally, I was slinging plates left and right, like trying to raise money to get this truck. So my cousin Dion, my brothers Jesse, Jim, Darren, we all came together and pitched it. We actually have a picture together that we took. Wow. And they back then it was called Chef Soulo's what was I the wingman, because I used to do these seared wings. Like I didn't deep fry my wings. I seared them.
So you're still not selling burgers yet?
No.
Okay.
No, burgers was an accident. That's coming.
Okay. Come on.
So yeah, I was doing that. We ended up getting the truck, and so I literally took everything out my refrigerator, put it on the truck, and that's the inventory that I started with. Okay. And that's what I ran off of. Like that's literally what kept us afloat, that initial inventory, and then I just started rolling, doing that. And it was going good.
And you're in South LA? You're back in South LA doing this?
No, and that was the thing too. Like, people don't realize like none of us had food trucks. No Instagram chefs had food trucks. Yeah. Really, it was just Not Your Mama Kitchen. I Love Funnel Cakes. Those are two of the food trucks that I knew for sure existed. Chef Ocho, he had just got his.
Okay. Before you were around your
Before me.
Okay.
It was right before I got mine.
Okay.
He had went on Steve Harvey or whatnot, and then he ended up getting a food truck.
Oh,
right
yeah.
after that.
He told me that story.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't tell me that he got a food truck after that, but yeah.
Yeah. I believe it was after that, but it was around the same time pretty much. So he's the only one really that had a truck, but he stayed on the Ocho. I was on Rodeo and Crenshaw. I was on Manchester and Western. I used to be on 88th and Avalon, Florence and Central. So I just started hitting these spots. Chef E-Double had a truck at the time, Grill Fresh. Okay. Shout out to him, man. He's always been an inspiration to us and to me as a chef. So I started parking in these different spots. I started parking in front of my house. I lived right on Crenshaw. Yeah. And it was like right behind the center or the divider or whatever it is. It was the island. So I used to park my truck over there. People would pull up. But I ended up meeting my partner, Chef Smokehouse, that year too. I had met him earlier when I was just doing pop-ups. He was doing the same thing. Yeah. He used to hang out with Chef Ocho and Blue Kitchen or whatnot, Food Minati or whatnot. So, me and him met and we just vibed. We clicked. It wasn't even about, working together. It was just, I liked what he was about. He liked what I was about. We both pretty much sold the same thing. Yeah. And I just pulled
And it was no hate. It's all love.
No.
That's what I love about.
Totally.
Yeah.
So one day, I also was doing collabs with 3 Stacks too. Like when I got the truck, me and him would do stuff because we was like the seafood boys. That's what's so crazy. Okay. Before Billionaire Burger Boys, I was seafood boys with 3 Stacks. So okay. He's always did the boils, and I would and you need to get him on here too. Okay. That's my guy.
You need to connect us.
Yeah, definitely I will. But he would do the seafood boils. So I was the deep fry guy. I deep fried everything. Okay. So I just would deep fry the boils, and so we would work together and do stuff together and whatnot. But Chef Smokehouse ended up calling me. And he was just like, man, I'm down on my luck. My car just got repoed. I got like $27 to my name. He was like, but I got these jambalaya fries that everybody is checking for. So is it possible I can get on the truck just for a day? So he was like, just for a day. Of course, I will split the profits. I'll pay you a certain amount of my proceeds or whatever. So I'm like, hell yeah, come on.
That was cool that he did that.
Yeah.
That was dope. That's okay. Well, go on.
That's my thing was his vibe and his energy was good. And I'm big on energy. Like I don't do the negative. I'm all about working together. We can accomplish more together than we can apart. Yeah. So that was my belief system. And so when he hit me up, it was an easy call. So he came on the truck that one day and never left.
Wow, okay.
So we was rolling with the Solo and Smoke show. Okay. So we were riding around LA. We had a fucking microphone. Can we curse?
Yeah.
Yeah. We had a microphone and he would just sit in the passenger seat. It's the Soul and Smoke show and just, I'm talking about through the hood though.
Okay.
We wasn't in we was riding down Vermont, like going down Imperial and, Western and things like that. And he'd be just talking, we got jambalaya fries, we got the wings and just like giving a show. Yeah. And then of course, when people would come to the truck and it was always a vibe, we had the music going, we singing, dancing, energy is always up. And then I think he ended up going and doing something with Chef Ocho in Vegas.
Okay. I love how you guys are all working together. Like,
Oh,
there's
yeah.
no like, oh, he's on my corner and da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah, no, it's
was
respect,
like all
it's all
love.
love.
Yeah.
Like, of course, it's like we created a lot of spots, so people park at those spots now. So what they would do is they would reach out to us like, "Yo, I know you don't go to this spot no more, but is it cool if I pull up?"
Okay.
You know what
nice.
I mean?
Yeah,
And like, hell
I just
yeah.
love it. There's so much love and
Or if
energy.
it's a spot that we currently at, like we'd just be like, "All right, well, we here on these days, so if you want to pull up on these days, or we can pull up together."
Yeah.
We would do that sometimes, just pull up with other trucks. But yeah, so he went with Chef Ocho. I was hungry, and we were supposed to. This is another story.
Go for it.
I used to sell frozen fries. His jambalaya fries had fresh cut fries, so he would cut fresh potatoes for the jambalaya fries.
Okay.
I just used the frozen fries.
Yeah.
So it was a debate like, yo, moving forward, which fries are we going to use?
Yeah.
And he was just like, yo, he was like, do you like fresh cut or frozen? And I was like, fresh cut, of course.
Yeah.
And he was like, well, then it's an easy call. We're using fresh,
Okay.
But I had just bought a case of frozen fries. So we had to sell these things.
Yeah.
So I was going to do a special with chili cheese fries.
Yeah.
So I bought the ingredients to make chili and different things like that. And of course, I bought a roll of beef. And we already had buns on the truck because I made like sandwiches, chicken sandwiches and different stuff. So one day I was hungry and I made a burger, which is now the Brutus on our menu.
Okay.
The Big Brutus burger. I made that burger and I posted on Instagram and I think it got like 200 or 300 likes.
Yeah.
And I didn't
And
think
what's
nothing
on
of
this
it.
burger?
It's barbecue sauce, cheese, bacon, and deep fried onion straws.
Okay.
Which is all my
and
favorite
you
things.
came up with this on the truck. You're just like, I'm gonna make me a little
American cheese.
Okay, so you're on the
Yeah.
truck. You're like, I'm gonna make this burger.
I just wanted to make me something to eat. And
So
the
does he
ingredients
try
were
your
there.
burger and he's like, damn, that's good.
So he actually named the burger.
Okay.
Like when I made the burger and I'm like, nigga, look, like he like that looked like it's a big Brutus. So
Yeah.
of course, like I said, I posted it and I didn't think nothing of it because I was used to getting a lot of likes.
Yeah.
So a couple days later, we was on the truck and he made what is now called the Smokehouse, and I made what is now called the Shrimp Surf and Turf.
Okay.
They're both still on the menu, and we took a picture of them side by side and posted it on the internet. They got like 1,000 likes within a couple of hours.
Wow. Okay.
And so that scene with from Trading Places. I mean, not Trading Places. Coming to America when he dropped the money.
Yeah.
And Randolph and Mortimer was right there, and he was like, "Randolph, we're back," So me and him had that moment. We looked at each other like, "Nigga, we doing burgers." And so we just start selling those 3 burgers.
Yeah.
Like literally.
And
just
people are
pounding
coming up to the truck like,
Yes.
yo, give me this. Okay.
Yes, they come in looking for him. That's when he went to Vegas with Chef Ocho.
Okay.
That weekend, and that was the weekend like. Everybody was pulling Memorial Day weekend, as a matter of fact. Everybody's pulling up for them burgers. And so we was actually trying to come up with a name. We ended up getting called to come and feed some people at Fox Studios because they had, like, the buzz it went crazy fast.
Okay.
So one of the executives at Fox Studios happened to get a wind of us. And they were like, well, come down here. We want you guys to feed our executives and possibly talk about a potential TV show. Why we was trying to figure out a name, and me and Jen was driving, and we was coming up with different names. Like we had one like 99 burgers because we had so many different ideas for burgers. And Jen was on her phone, I think, looking at the burgers, and she was like, "These look like $1 billion burgers." She was like, "Y'all should be the Billionaire Burger Boys."
By the way, I love the name. I love the name. It's like my favorite name of like. Just favorite, like if I could say company names, bomb, Billionaire Burger Boys, yeah.
Manifestation, man. That's really what it's all about. At that point, our cheapest burger was $10.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So, and that was our regular burger. We called it the generic, and it was actually a play on Jen's name because her name was Jennifer.
Aww.
So it was the Jen Eric. Aww. You know what I mean? So it was the generic because she just liked regular ass burgers. You know what I mean? Like she just wanted regular burgers.
Just give me cheese and some ketchup and a burger. Yeah, keep it simple.
So like she came up with that name and we just took it and ran with it. Went and got T-shirts made and created a logo into swap meet with the man and everything, and just started running with it.
Now, what do you think? Looking at your story now, you go from Billionaire Burger Boys. And now you have a couple stores, you have a couple trucks, you've been on national television. Like, what do you think looking back at your story? Do you think it went by fast, slow? Like, because a lot of people think they see Billionaire Burger Boys, but they don't know this like long stretch of history. Like, what do you think? Like, what is the feeling you get when you think about the empire you guys built?
Well, we're only 5 years in. We started in 2017.
Only 5 years in?
Only 5 years in.
And does it feel like it went by fast or slow?
It was a blur.
It was a blur.
It feels like yesterday we just started, like, because that's just how fast everything just progressed. Like, within a month or two of us even becoming the Billionaire Burger Boys, our name was Barbershop Talk. Okay. Like, people were talking about us in the barbershop, and that's like a goal.
Yeah.
If you're getting talked about in the barbershop, then you're good. Especially, locally. So, by then it was barbershop talk. Everybody wanted to be aligned with us. Everybody wanted to talk, be friends. So, just thinking back, it's like, whoa, we've been on a journey.
Yeah.
We created, like, people don't realize we created, like, a food truck culture in LA, in South LA. Yeah. Because the thing is, before they was viewed as roach coaches, and they were only taco trucks, and none of them were in South LA. They were all on the outskirts, downtown LA, so on and so forth, West LA. So nobody was really parking in South LA because they were scared of that stigma of South LA. We didn't care.
What's crazy is that you guys are all like from relatively like around South LA. And you have this stigma, but you guys all work together. You support each other. I know, I've heard through the grapevine that you've mentored a lot of the big names that are out there. You've helped them, like Happy Ice and all those guys.
Yeah. Well, no, Happy Ice, it's so funny because Happy Ice, they we met them because we were going to the downtown LA art walk. We like muscled our way into one of their events, to one of their food truck events. We just pulled up and talked to the coordinator like, yo, we'll pay you $200 right now to get in, right?
Oh, okay.
And Happy Ice was doing the same thing. They were like trying to muscle their way into just different things because they had just came from Philly. You know what I mean? So it was like they were new, fresh faces. And
but you showed them a lot of love.
Yeah, we just happened to meet that night. That same night, we both were trying to do the same thing. We ended up getting in the event, not making no money. Didn't even make the money back that we spent. Like, people was just walking by our truck looking like, and we had a whole ass truck with menu and all that. And we didn't get no love. And so we ended up chopping it up. We met Happy Ice, Lemire, the owner. And we decided, we was like, yo, we going to all these events outside of LA trying to make money. We're spending a lot of money to be in these events. And we're not making anything. We're not yielding anything. So let's create our own event. And so that's where the Leimert Park Block Party came from. We collabed with Happy Ice. And then, of course, I had connections. Shout out to Kimani Black and Herb Wesson. They looked out for us. That's their district. So that's why we started doing it in Leimert Park. And we ran that for a year straight. And basically what we did was we introduced all of the new Black-owned food trucks to LA.
Wow. Okay.
Like, if you were a food truck at the time, or you were brand new with a food truck, our event was the event you wanted to be at, because we would get 3,000 plus people every single month, and we would do it once a month. And it was the biggest food truck event in LA, the only food truck event in South LA at the time. And that pretty much spawned a lot of the different events that you've seen after that involve food trucks.
Now, speaking of events and food trucks, for all the entrepreneurs that are listening and would love to somehow magically cross paths with you, because I know you have a lot of operations going on, so I'm pretty sure they can't just pop up at a store and bump into you. But how can they catch you? I know you guys have a summit coming up. Can you tell me more about it?
WFE Consulting, shout out to Lee Smith. He's the owner.
Shout out to him, because I was hunting him down for a while, and he got him. Okay.
Actually, that's my family. And he's been down with us for a while now. Like, he just started booking us for stuff. Like, he would call us and be like, yeah, I got this thing with Facebook. They want you to do this. Or I got this with Amazon, or with Enterprise, or with, Amazon Prime is doing the theater thing. And, so he would only book us for stuff where we was getting paid. Okay. You know what I mean? And
shout outs for not charging me for this interview.
Right? But he would totally, just hook us up with stuff. And he was just doing it off the love. And then he created WFE, and we just built the relationship from there. Okay. And so when he said he wanted to do this, I was like, I'm all in.
And this is a different type of tour, because I thought initially like food trucks were going to be there, but this is an opportunity to get like one-on-one with these entrepreneurs, ask the difficult questions. And the cool thing about this tour is, like, I've met with the different chefs on the tour, and what I've learned is that you guys all came from these almost like survival instinct type backgrounds. So it's like no matter what you are, what phase you are as an entrepreneur, this is an opportunity where it's a comfortable, I'd say, safe space because you're approaching people that look and feel and literally understand everything you're going through.
And there are no dumb questions.
And there's no such thing as a dumb question.
No dumb questions.
Yeah, and you don't have to feel like uptight or what have you. And I heard there's access to like alternative financing and all that stuff. But I love what you guys are doing and what you're about, and I can't wait to have a $30 burger. That's all I want is a $30 burger. But
well, that's hence the billionaire.
That's the billionaire burger.
But it's all about the quality that we put into the food as well.
Clearly, you're an amazing chef. You literally took a peanut butter sandwich, which I had very low expectations for, and you turned it into, I would call this like a gourmet type dish because it looks and tastes really good. I'm going to finish this dish.
Sticky.
I just couldn't. Yeah, it gets sticky
to the plate.
But that caramel is everything.
This is candy.
This is candy. How can people find out about the tour and sign up for tickets and where the tour is?
Well, go to foodandbusinesssummit.com. That's where you can get all the information. We have tickets available on Eventbrite. And yes, I will be at every tour date. So we look forward to it. We got Vegas coming up. We got Vegas, Indianapolis, Norfolk, Virginia, Houston, Texas, Atlanta, and then LA. So please pull up. We got all the information you need, and I mean the real stories, not the, what you'll find in the book. It's the real stories, that stuff we actually went through. So definitely pull up on us.
Pull up. I know I'm going to try and pull up to at least one of the dates.
Please do.
Just so I can be a groupie. Peace.